2001, what, 38 years. Don, what the hell were you thinking? What the hell were you thinking?
I have
38
no idea.
years as an educator.
The problem is,
Well, hold on, the question is not finished yet. 38 years as an educator, spending your, what is it, 10 months out of the year, dedicating everything you've got to advancing other people's knowledge, and here you decide to, from now on, spend the other 2 months out of the year, which is otherwise known as your vacation, to do some more of that. Now explain that to me.
I'd be happy to explain that to you. One of the things, first of all, I need to say that I have quit teaching 3 times, right?
Okay.
And I quit teaching all 3 times because of the bureaucracy that's involved. And I discovered years ago, when I was in junior college, a passion for stage lighting. And that passion increased over the years to include scene design as well as stage lighting. And even at some point in my life, sound design, although I've now given it up because it's gone so far beyond me in terms of technology that I wouldn't know where to begin. But the passion that I had was often hard to communicate within the regular school period, right? Because you had kids that were having to write a paper, go to a tech rehearsal that lasted until midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, expected to do some drafting the next morning. One of Ruth Lafortune's favorite stories is the fact that he used to leave the tech rehearsal, go bag groceries for 6 or 7 hours, then come back to the studio and go to sleep for a couple of hours, and he'd worked out a deal with the janitor to wake him up so he could then do his drafting before class started, right? And I mean, that translates into a passion for wanting to do something, but it also means that your mind is pulled in so many different directions. And so the Stagecraft Institute was developed. The idea behind the Stagecraft Institute was that, okay, come and spend 8 hours a day for 1 week or 6 weeks or 8 weeks, however long you want to spend. And all you got to do is concentrate on what we're going to be offering you in terms of technology or design or whatever, right? You don't have to worry about writing papers, you don't have to worry about English, you don't have to worry about taking an acting class. You just can concentrate totally on whatever it is we're doing that week. Moving lights, special effects, makeup, whatever. So for years, this actually started, my wife will tell you it started in 1971. Because in 1971, I was teaching at the University of California, Santa Barbara. And I made friends with the Dean of Engineering. And I asked him to come over and talk to my class, one of my classes, one of my basic stagecraft classes, right? And so he came over, and before class we were talking, and we walked through the scene shop, and he saw how we build scenery. And he said to me, "Oh my God, you guys are doing such inefficient, silly, unsafe things. This is really ridiculous." And having come up through, University of Iowa and other places, blah, 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 I thought I was doing right. So this engineer and I decided to do what was called a interdisciplinary semester. And I picked 8 kids from my cadre of graduate and undergraduate students in tech theater. And we got permission from the university for them to do nothing for a semester but take courses that this engineer and I decided they should take, right? And so they didn't have to write papers, they didn't have to do anything, right? They just took these courses, okay? And there were 8, as I said, we selected 8 people for that process. Out of those 8 people, and I think 50% of a class who goes forward and is super successful is incredible, because you're probably normally talking about 5, maybe 10%, but 50%, right? One of them became president of Strand Lighting. One of them has the largest graphics design firm in the northwestern part of the United States. One of them has won numerous awards for his display designs. And another one has been a successful teacher who was selected to be part of the inaugural World Stage Design exhibition. And to get that out of a single class tells me that we did something right that semester, you know. And the thing that intrigued me was not only what I learned, but watching their eyes open up wide when this engineer said to me, "You're building platforms on 2x4s? You realize that a 2x4 weighs 50% more than a 1x6 and is only 2/3 as strong as a 1x6? And you go, "Oh, really?" And then he shows you, and he tells you, "This is so you shouldn't be building platforms out of 2x4s. You should be building them out of 1x6 if you're going to build them out of wood." And I mean, all kinds of things like that happen. And we had a course on, you know, we had a 2-week mini course on lasers. This is 1971. We brought in one of the engineers, was the guy who invented air casters. And so we learned about air casters and actually used air casters for the first time in theater anywhere, you know, with the help of the guy who invented air casters, right? We brought him to the thing. And so the thing that taught me was that if you take people and you give them the opportunity to learn a very specific thing in a short period of time, and let them then kind of reflect on it later, that it really does, there really is a positive effect of it. You know, not just the success of these guys, but as I've gone forward in the years, you know, and done this kind of thing other places where you say, okay, for 2 weeks, we're going to concentrate on this. And no, you're not going to learn everything, but it's going to open your eyes about some things. And maybe a year from now, you're going to say, hey, wait a minute. You know, I learned when I drop a pebble in the water and the waves hit a diffraction grating that it goes around like this. And so maybe I can use that in this particular lighting scene. If I hit the edge of that scenery just right with the light, I can really create a kind of halo glow around it, right? That, you know, just as a kind of wild example. So that's why I do it. Passion.